Greetings, my little superstars! Ruppy here, your ringmaster for the Columbus Swoo, amazing Digital Circus edition! Now, last week, our funny buddies unfortunately suffered their first defeat, as Ark once again managed to get one over on me with the help of that audacious Articuno, as well as Gallade getting the luck of the draw in the final Scarf shootout with poor Ragatha. Thankfully, since we operate on wacky cartoon physics here, your favorite friends don't have to lick their wounds, because they'll be bouncing right back into action this week. On a more positive note, I can confirm that as we head into the final adventure of the regular season, our circus will, in fact, be rolling into playoffs for another performance or two, so we're not quite done just yet. That said, I have a bit of a funny little surprise for all of you in this final week. Today's adventure is the AI-mpossible adventure! Okay, not my most clever adventure name, but I'm not to blame for this one. You can thank ChatGPT, who I've actually decided to put in the driver's seat this week. You probably think that sounds bananas, and I wouldn't blame you. After all, I did kind of trash the AI a few weeks ago, but I've decided to willingly give it a chance and see what it can do. There's no harm in it. After all, since we're already a lock for playoffs, we have no reason to go all out against our final regular season opponent, that being Xand and his San Diego Hydres. They do have a fairly scary roster, befitting of the fact that, much like Ark and us, Xand has been running roughshod over the competition all season. And since he's promised me a bit of a more lighthearted approach, why take any unnecessary risks and spoil the fun when we could very well meet again soon? So despite me having Xand's roster up, I will not be saying anything about it. After all, I'm not actually preparing for this game proper. I'm taking a break and giving ChatGPT the chance to prove me wrong and build me a competent team to perform with. Alright, dropping the Ringmaster Act and shenanigans for a moment. In the interest of fairness, I went ahead and pulled out some of my D&D dice and rolled a couple of D10s, since I have 9 funny buddies on my circus roster, to determine, in draft order, who would be given this opportunity, with 10s and repeats getting rerolls. So, why don't we plug these in and see if the AI can cook as well as I have so far this season. Wow. This is something, alright. Lots of stuff that just isn't available anymore, and look at that wacky Cyclosaur set. Okay, so clearly this AI is in need of some updates, but this is why we test them, am I right? That said, I'm still going to take the general spirit of what ChatGPT was doing to try and still make something that we can at least run with. I'm not going to go too in-depth on these sets, since they aren't specifically built to face Xand's roster, but I'll see what I can touch on regardless. Let's begin with Kinger! Now, ChatGPT did have an interesting idea going, with a bulky special attacker that can set rocks, so the only thing our resident bug enthusiast traded was Scald for Surf. Unfortunately, Kinger just isn't able to spit hot water, but everything else is just as the AI intended. I can only imagine the out-of-date programming means it still believes our penguin pal has Defiant instead of Competitive, and that is why it's settled on Torrent. But we'll roll with it for today's adventure. Next up is our resident candy criminal, who knows a thing or two about being driven by an immersive AI, Gummy Goo! ChatGPT certainly had the right idea here, because you can never go wrong with a Scarf Crocodile. I would have preferred Moxie over Intimidate personally, but who am I to deny the AI a chance to prove it can cook with my roster better than I can? Now, since Pursuit no longer exists, and honestly, I wasn't laughing over the idea of double rock setters, I did decide to patch in Dunk Shot as the last move, just in case. One funny buddy who I know is just thrilled to be taking part in this little experiment is Zooble. They may not look like it, but trust me, they're on board with this AI extravaganza. Since hidden power has been hidden away from the world for several generations at this point, much like Avatar Aang, I suppose, I decided to patch in Stomping Tantrum as a replacement option, just so Zooble can vent their frustrations over taking part in this adventure in a healthier manner, I suppose. Next up is everyone's favorite troublemaker, Jax! Quite fitting, since Jax gave our AI overlord quite a conniption trying to figure him out. And since this isn't the realm of infinite fusion, and I unfortunately can't treat him like a fusion of Ragatha and Gangle, something I'm sure he's thankful for, I decided to try and build something at least in the spirit of what ChatGPT was trying to do. Thus, Jax is running a choice spec set this week, with U-turn to pivot, Draco Meteor and Hyper Beam for powerful double stab, and Overheat making the most sense as the coverage move for a spec set. So congrats, Jax! You get to wear the funny glasses this week! All that remains now is our Terra Captains, starting with Pomni! Outside of patching in close combat over Drill Run for reasons already stated with our other funny buddies, Pomni is also rocking pretty much everything ChatGPT wants her to try. I did decide to have her don the Crown of Flowers, however, since this AI clearly knows nothing of Terra types, just to try and at least put in some semblance of elbow grease to try and allow our little crying friend to make quite the little crying mark on Xand's roster in some fashion. And last but certainly not least is Gangle! Once again, I pretty much let ChatGPT have its fun and only made one little change, but this one was a bit more clever. Since, again, hidden power is no more, we can at least try to replicate hidden power fire this time with Terra Fire Fire Blast. It just seems like a wacky surprise to see a snowflake suddenly wearing a candelabra and spewing flames from its icy face, doesn't it? I'm sure Gangle will agree. That's the AI-generated roster for today's adventure. Thank you to ChatGPT for the assistance in programming. So, have I made a horrible mistake? Will the AI actually prove to be a superior coach to yours truly? Will Xand just bury us anyway with whatever shenanigans he's bringing? Let's find out! Alright, it is battle time. This is about to be real interesting. So, he brought Cobalion, Electros, Regieleki, Talonflame, Sneasel, which is Terra Dark, and Arboliva, which is Terra Normal. So, keeping the same Terra types. My team is built entirely with ChatGPT. It has not actually been optimized for this matchup, so this is about to be real interesting. No Primarina actually kind of surprises me, though if he's not taking this too seriously like I am, then I guess that's kind of fine. Looking at this, I kind of want to lead Jax, actually, and see what kind of nonsense I can get up to right out of the gate. So we're going to go ahead and do that. No Ceruledge, no Flygon, no Revavroom. I am really curious to see what Xand has cooked up here. Because, yeah, my team is not optimized at all for this game. It is just random ChatGPT nonsense with a bit of a human hand to try to show it how to actually do Gen 9 stuff. Regardless, good luck, have fun, Xand. And let's see how quickly this game devolves into fun little nonsense. As he leads with the Sneasel. Alright, not what I would have liked to see right out of the gate, to be perfectly honest. I'm just gonna go ahead and U-turn out, because why not? Screw it. If the Ice Shards are out of the gate, fair enough, but, I mean, I honestly don't know what to expect. Because neither of us need this win. We're both in playoffs, And considering it's a very small playoff format because each division is self-contained and only the top 4 getting in. So I am going to be able to get this U-turn off and do big damage to this Sneasel, so that's a thing that just happened. So I guess in that regard, the question becomes, what do I want to do from here? Part of me wants to go into Kinger, maybe? Or would a Moongus be the potential play here? I'm going to go Kinger. We're going to see how this works out. We're going to see what this Sneasel is doing. So, knockoff, which, you know what? Completely fair. So, no more leftovers for Empoleon. Sad, but fine. Honestly, I could finish this thing off with a Surf or a Flash Cannon. Assuming it doesn't have, like, low kick or something, which it probably does, let's be honest here. I really want to set up my rocks, but I also feel like getting rid of this thing would be very nice. I'm just gonna Surf. He taunts! Okay, so trying to prevent my rocks from going up anyway. That is fine, so let's go for what ChatGPT tried to give me, a Scald. Would have loved if Empoleon still had Scald, but unfortunately, no, ChatGPT. That is not what Gen 9 has done. It has not allowed Empoleon to keep Scald. But Surf works just as well, and Sneasel is now off the table, so if anything is terrestrializing now, it is going to be the Arboliva. Which, part of me wouldn't be surprised if that thing actually comes in right now. Regieleki wouldn't surprise me. Neither would Electros, for that matter. Like, there's definite options here for what he can do, and that is my old friend Electros, still clipping through the world because of course it does. That is what this eel does. Oh, you really love doing that, don't you, Electros? You love clipping through the world. I believe I'm still taunted. Yeah, so I couldn't try to get my rocks up even if I wanted to. I kind of feel like Zubal's the play here, maybe? I mean, you could very well have Flamethrower. That is a possibility. You know what? We're going to go into Zubal, though. We're going to get Kinger out of here. I can try to maybe set some rocks up later. Maybe I can get him up on Talonflame or something. See if we can make that work. U-turns out, which is absolutely fair. Kinda makes me wish that ChatGPT had given me Rocky Helmet, but we can make do with Black Sludge. We can make do with Black Sludge. As I would not be surprised to see Talonflame right now, at all, to be perfectly honest. That sounds like Talonflame. That is, in fact, Talonflame. Of course it's Talonflame. I am quite bulky, though. Yeah, I guess this really kind of boils down to what kind of Talonflame are you, because if you're a very offensive one, and I would not be surprised if you are, to be completely honest, I could take a Flare Blitz or a Brave Bird, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and Spore you. We're going to do that. Just U-turn right back out again. Okay. The U-turn parade. Alrighty, that is perfectly fine. I am no stranger to that. As this is going to be the Electros again. So I guess Electros is going to take a nap. Fair enough. I am fine with that. Now, do you go back into Talonflame is the question. I wouldn't be surprised if you do, to be honest. I'm going to Sludge Bomb just in case you do happen to do that. Just so that way I can break a potential Gale Wings on that thing. That is Regieleki? Yes, it is. Regieleki... Zubal's just causing all sorts of problems, which is par for the course at this point for Zubal, for Amoonguss. You could Volt Switch. I mean, Sludge Bomb. No, I think you're out of range of a Sludge Bomb. I'm gonna do it anyway in case you Volt Switch. Rain Dance! Okay, color me intrigued. Rain Dance Regieleki. Is that... I'm curious now if that Talonflame is Hurricane. I mean, I'm just gonna Sludge Bomb again, because why not? And you're just gonna hit me with a raw Terra Blast, which is fine. Zubal eats that, and we're gonna be able to take out this Regieleki. I am willing to bet that Talonflame is actually a special one. Yep, I think that's a given at this point. Given the way you brought this thing in right up on Zubal. So, that said, we're going to go into Kinger. Because I don't think Zubal can take a Hurricane. I would rather not take that risk. Yep, there's the Hurricane. Which, Kinger did not quite take that as well as I thought he would. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and Surf, just in case. Alright, you're gonna switch. Alright, that's fine. That is fine. Hurricane Talonflame. Color me intrigued. Well, that Surf is definitely going to hurt. And pop Seed Sower, okay. That is absolutely fine with me. That confirms you outspeed. I'm at 132, which is... I think that's out of Torrent range. I wouldn't be surprised at that. I am curious what you go for here. I'm going to try to get my rocks up, but I'm pretty sure this is where Kinger goes down. And Trailblaze! Okay, I realistically could have popped you with an Ice Beam. That kind of annoys me a bit now. I mean, I got my rocks up, so there's that at least. I was at 132, that knocked me down to 77. So if you're a physical set of some kind, you do outrun Empoleon. So that is something that is good to note. I believe I am in Torrent range now, but I'm going to fire with an Ice Beam anyway. You're just going to Terrasilize, so Surf would have actually been the better play. The Surf would have definitely taken this thing out. That one is my bad. But that is fine. That is fine. You just go for a second Trailblaze, which still does not take out Kinger. I'm still going to be able to fire off this Ice Beam. Do a chunk of this thing, which is fair. If you're a physical attacker, this is where things get curious now. If you are a physical attacker, what are you doing to Amoonguss? I don't think much, honestly. So I'm going to go into Zubal. I'm going to preserve Kinger. I don't think I really have a reason to preserve Kinger, but I'm going to preserve him anyway, because why not at this point? I can use Kinger as a sack for later. Giga Drain, okay. So you maybe are a special set that just has Trailblaze for speed purposes? Which is certainly interesting. I am going to pop you with a Giga Drain in return, though, as you Hyper Voice. Okay. This is probably going to hurt quite a bit. As I'm going to be able to take a chunk out of this thing with Giga Drain. Which is fine. There goes the rain, at least. Is the terrain going to go away as well? Yes, it is. Okay, so Zooble is currently at 263, which is a roll for Hyper Voice to KO. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and sack Kinger now, just so Zooble gets the recovery. Yep. Sorry, Kinger. Alrighty. So, Kinger is now down. You're at +2, which is certainly a problem. Okay, how to proceed from here? I wonder, actually. I mean, you probably outrun, I'm gonna go into Gangle. 'Cause I'm pretty sure you outrun, I mean... Yeah, if you're timid, you definitely outrun Cyclozar. Which is a very likely possibility. So I think my play at this point... I'm going to Terrasilize, and I'm going to Rapid Spin. Because I believe that will allow Gangle to outrun this thing. In retrospect, maybe I should have done this with Terra Grass and Lycanroc-Midnight, but I don't think Lycanroc-Midnight can take a Hyper Voice. Gangle should be able to. That looks to be above half. I know that will proc Seed Sower, which will kind of suck, but that should be fine. And I do have leftovers on this Cryogonal, so I do have that going for me as well. So, I am at 220. I should definitely be out of range of another Hyper Voice. So we are going to fire off an Ice Beam. And see if we can take this Arbalva down. Yep, I do outrun because of the Rapid Spin. As he goes for another Hyper Voice. Completely fair. Gangle's going to be able to live that. Alright. So, I think I know where this is about to go. It's about to not be a pretty scenario, but we're going to recover up. Get Gangle nice and healthy again. You're going to Hyper Voice once again. Alrighty. Not the situation I would have expected to find myself in, but here we are. I'm going to recover up again. This is fine. Not really, but we'll try to make it work. So Gangle is going to be at 154. That is a roll with Hyper Voice. I apologize for the Xand, but just because we're having dumb fun doesn't mean I can't try to make the most of what I brought with me to this dance. So I'm going to get Leftovers recovery. He's going to get his terrain recovery. I believe I'm out of range of a Hyper Voice now. I should be anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and fire off an Ice Beam now. That's just going to pop Seed Sower all over again. Alright. Gangle is going to barely survive. I mean, another recover will probably take me out of range, but at this point... Screw it, I'm just going to go for another Ice Beam. Screw it. We are... I'm not going to sit here and keep doing this. I feel bad enough about what I've done already. And you're just going to take me out with Giga Drain, which, you know what, completely fair. Which now raises the question of what do I do about you, because I don't think there's much I can do about you. Because a Hyper Voice definitely takes Jax out. If you're timid max speed, you outrun the Cyclozar. If you're modest, you don't. So that is where this gets interesting. Also, I want to check Crook quick. I don't think you outrun Crook even if you're timid. We're gonna risk Jax. I guess this will confirm this right now. Okay. I don't want to risk the Gunk Shot. In retrospect, that is definitely a knockoff range for, yeah, in retrospect, that is definitely a knockoff range, or even Earthquake range. Well, no, not Earthquake range because of the terrain. Still, though... We're going to fire off a Hyper Voice of our very own. You do outrun me, so you are timid. And this is definitely going to kill Jax. Yep. So that confirms that. And you are now definitely healthier. Honestly, I think Zubal's my play. I think Zubul is my play here. I'm just going to go ahead and Giga Drain you. Because I feel like my play at this point is to get this thing low enough that I can bring in Crook and Revenge and try to somehow pull this back from there. Which that should do it. But the problem is, in no other scenario... Let's see... Yep, that is definitely low enough for Scarf Crook to pick it off. Although... No, I am definitely in Hyper Voice range, so... We're just gonna let Zubul go. We're just gonna let Amoonguss keep Arbalva keep racking up kills at my expense. I gotta give credit where credit is due. This is a nasty set that got brought. Credit where credit is due. That said, though, the grassy terrain is gone. I'm gonna knock off. Take you out. Alright. So that is the end of that. Definitely not the most optimal way I could have played this game, but to be fair, this is also not the most optimal team I have at my disposal. I would not be surprised to see Cobalion right now, because I'm pretty sure Cobalion just wins from here. Because with the terrain up, it definitely takes an Earthquake. Yep. I can't knock off because of Justified. Well, I mean, I could knock off, but... Yep, GG, Xand. I blame ChatGPT for this. This is the team it gave me, so this is all ChatGPT's fault. Certainly not my terrible playing around Arbalova because, yeah. Because I let that thing run wild all over me. As this thing swords dances. Alrighty, so you are definitely about ready to rip me a new one. For sure. I'm just gonna try to close combat anyway. I don't see anything coming. Yep, Ironhead. That is game. That is game. Oh dear. Oh, and you had the Adrenaline Orb too. Ha! Ha ha! Good to know. Note to self, do not bring Intimidate Crook if I meet Xand again in playoffs. GG, Xand. Hello to probably third place at this point, because, well, I mean, I could be second or third. It really depends on Arca's game, but, oh well. ChatGPT. This is the team you gave me, and this is how well it fared. I hope you're happy. This is why AI will not be taking over in the near future, because if it gives crap like this, I don't think we have anything to worry about. GG again, Xand. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo and I will see you in playoffs, and we'll see if the amazing Digital Circus can still pull us through when it actually starts to matter again. Take care, guys.